Manchester?
Yeah, good in Manchester last night, and so yeah, never get the best night's kip on the old tour, but no.
Yeah, you're starting tonight. Any surprises in the set at all?
Well, yeah, it's a whole new show. You know, it's the Black Knight Live gig. We've got this new sensational prop from it. So yeah, it's totally sort of reinvented our ride.
Okay, with the album out and all the collaborations, etc., which collaboration was your personal favourite and why on the new album?
I mean, the Brian Ferry thing is kind of amazing because it's just it made a lot of sense that kind of some of the sounds we were kind of referencing on this record, and now he's come back and Roxy Music and Reform and playing Love Box. That's kind of lovely. Because it feels like it's a little bit of history doing that. So that's kind of amazing. But I guess the Becky thing, like working with Saint Stave and having somebody prepared to come out on the road with us and front up the band. That's been the most special thing to have happened on this one.
Superb. What about yourself?
Yeah, just I mean, Becky's become a totally integral part. You know, as you see tonight, she's one of the performers of her generation. She's been a revelation. You know, and the question after we play used to be, who's that girl? She's quite something. So that's the sort of relationship that's totally transformed the way that we can do our live gigs. It's much more punky and rock and roll, stripped back. And it's great for us this year because in Australia we're playing to 30,000 people, and in some places we're going to be playing to 500, but we sort of build again with a new sound. So having her in the front is kind of key.
Yes, every time. So you got obviously all different people in the front. So somebody new member in a group or either family. How does that change? And say how long would this format sort of go on for?
Well, I mean, in a way, the people, particularly like the crew and stuff that work with us, haven't really changed over the last 10 years. That's always been a bit of a rocker, which is all bass, and the performers have moved around a little bit. But the guitarist and the drummer have been with us for about 5 years now. So Becky's she's the only real new girl this time around. But no, it's great. I mean, I imagine we'll probably keep this rolling until the touring cycle of this album, really, whenever that'll be. Which I imagine will be the end of this year. I imagine we'll probably keep going till do the festival this summer and then knock up the head sometime around December.
Superb. So Ben's from Planet Soleil, that's so right.
Yeah.
Yeah, supporting as well. So that's how's that sort of going?
Yeah, they've done lots of gigs with us. They're great lads, really talented band. Again, as you'll hear tonight, they know what they're doing live. He's a great performer. He's got a great voice. And yeah, obviously he featured on the tune Paper Romance, which is one of the tunes off the new album, which seems to be turning into a bit of an anthem. It's based on the responses to the gigs so far. So it's fantastic that A, you're getting great support, and B, that means he can come on stage in his incredibly glittery jacket and do the Paper Romance thing.
Superb.
Well, I can see your tour is going overseas. You're going to the United States. Is the first time you're going there?
It's not the first time, it's the first time in a long time. I mean, we went out there for a couple of tours when we first started, but we've done like one-off gigs like the Hollywood Bowl a couple of years ago, but I think a few shows ago, this is the first time in about 4 or 5 years, I think. So it's really exciting. We're working with a label over there that's not a big label, it's like an independent label called On, but they're working really, really hard for us, and it feels kind of exciting. It feels like that's been a great thing with this record generally, is that there's been lots of markets that have opened up for us that we've never really had before. Like, Germany are quite interested. We're going to do a TV show in France. We're going to do stuff in the States. So, it's for some reason it seems to have had this album seems to have a kind of a bit of a global reach, which is a good thing. It makes it much more interesting for us.
And what are your expectations?
Well, it feels good over there. I mean, there was a while at the beginning when we were being taken around Los Angeles in limousines all the time, and we were doing DJ gigs where we'd arrive in an open-topped aeroplane and all kinds of crazy stuff. And then, actually, seemed to kind of coincide when George Bush became president. We stopped going to America. I don't know whether that was a coincidence or not. But now, as Tom said, we're working with a new label. We're free of a major label for this album for the first time. And yeah, we're adding shows over there. Things are selling out fast. This is on the small scale, but still, it feels really exciting. We're number one of various iTunes charts in the States this week, so it feels good.
Brilliant. With the Bacardi Be Life, you put out the EP, etc. I mean, why did was that collaboration that you thought would sort of continue? You knocked on the head, but now there's with Red Bull Academy going the same way, and with record companies, sort of the internet, online downloading. Do you think that's sort of the future of recording?
I think it's sort of like, I think that, at the time we did that deal, I think we you know, we've kind of strongly felt that. You know, there's obviously like there's a hole to be filled by the fact that people, you know, aren't spending the same amount of money on records. We don't really buy records in the way they used to. So that someone needs to come in with some money to keep this whole thing rolling. But I think it, for certain people, works well. Stuff, you know, the Red Bull Academy stuff seems really interesting. I think with all these sort of things, there's good ways and bad ways of doing these things. But if it's done with integrity, then I think it's a totally decent thing to do. I can see it being a big part of the future. You know, running Lovebox, you know, I would say the 9 tents we're going to have on site this year, 6 of them will carry the sponsor's logo of, you know, one or the other, and that's how we make it work. That's how we can sort of just about keep our head above water by doing that.
Yeah, I mean, how much time does Lovebox take up in your lives?
I mean, it's quite kind of up until, you know, like we're kind of talent spotting stuff, we do quite a lot of that, and, you know, so it's kind of constantly on my mind more than like I'm in there like in the office every day. But yeah, it's constantly on my mind, which is a nice thing.
Yeah, no, it's a great festival. And I don't know, you said that the NBMT were an inspiration on the album. Is that, in what way did you mean?
It wasn't kind of a direct thing, but I think there was at the time we were listening to old stuff like Bowie and Gary Newman and who's the other one? Of course, Roxy Music we talked about before, and their sort of Love Is a Drug phase. And you know, we saw a couple of Friendly Fires gigs, and you know, particularly that first half of that MGMT album, it's just some brilliant songs on there. And we saw a couple of bits of Passion Pit here and there. There was a general thing that they had going on, which is, you know, what we've been doing on stage for a long time, which is musicians and electronics combined, just as there is on the Gary Newman stuff and the David Bowie stuff that we were listening to as well. And we thought, well, we've been doing this on stage for a long time, let's make a record like that.
Superb. So what? So the big day out you played over there, and you put the album forward in Australia for that. What do we expect this summer, festival-wise, apart from Lovebox?
Well, we're not doing Lovebox this year. We've already decided we're having a sabbatical, so we're not doing Lovebox. So that's probably the one thing we do know about. So we're not doing Lovebox
at some point, no?
No, we'll be there.
I mean,
yeah, but we won't be playing live there. That's for sure. But I don't know. The office decided to come and I still don't really know what we do. Do you know what we do this summer? Roughly.
Well, we're probably going to be at Glastonbury, probably going to be at Tina Park.
Definitely doing V.
Definitely doing V. So most of the UK festivals. And a lot of European festivals, we're going to be residents on the Space Terrace in Ibiza again on Sundays. We'll do a couple of things with Pete Tong over in Ibiza again. So yeah, it's good between sort of Ibiza and Europe and the UK. I think it's going to be long weekends continuously between May and September.
Super. And a while back you were talking about, you know, possibly winding up Groove Armada and stuff. Is that something that was just a phase that's completely over? Is it something that do you think it's going to have a finite point? Is it something that is in the future?
We're going to keel over, aren't we? So, yeah, it's going to be finite in that way. But I think that we were very frustrated at the time with all the major label stuff. Was not easy for a very long time. There came a point where it was just a bit too much. You know, it was slightly driving us mad. But it's been great. You know, on this record working with independent labels all over the world. People just really love the music. When we were in Australia, for example, it's just really infectious. You know, these people just love it and they go the extra yard for you all the time. And the responses live are amazing. Responses on the GA site over the last couple of days, people have been buying the album, taking it home, have been amazing. So, you know, you don't want to let that stuff go. It feels like a really kind of re-energised phase we're in now.
Superb. And you enjoying it as much as you ever have then at the moment?
Yeah, but probably more in a way. I mean, it's you know, it's I think that's kind of having not really thinking we were going to have this phase. It's really nice, you know, to sort of make an album that seems to be getting a lot of critical approval, and you know, and an album that we're really proud of. Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's in some ways it's, you know, it's a bit more nerve-wracking now. You know, we don't have that safety blanket of a major. It's kind of us even more than ever, like making the decisions, and that, you know, it's a bit stressful. You've got that on your mind all the time. But no, it's great when it rolls like it has been recently. It's been great. Yeah.
Great stuff. And yeah, if a decision-making process-wise, and so you get one says one says the other, who would win out most of the time?
We're quite good at finding compromise, I think. When it all comes down to it, that's kind of like, you know, whatever decision we reach is, you know, we're about a song, that's when it becomes a Groove Armada thing. So I think we're quite good at finding out compromises.
So everybody running comes to blows.
Yeah, that's the case, isn't it?
Great stuff. Anything else you want? Well, thanks a lot. I mean, I've had a great time tonight. Look forward to it. And, a pleasure.
Yes, cheers. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.